We're staying in our new office project.dwg file. And in this particular video, we're going to take a look at creating a simple dynamic block. Now, we've mentioned regular blocks already, but a dynamic block, you can apply movement parameters to the block. So you can potentially flip the block, move the block, and do it automatically with parametric actions. We're going to look at the door down here, bottom left. So zoom in. Select the line and the arc that make up the door. Go to the Home tab on the ribbon, go to the Layer drop down. You can see that it's actually on the wrong layer anyway, it's on the Walls layer, but you need to put them on the 0 layer, like that. Just hit Escape a couple of times to deselect. Now you'll remember when we created the blocks previously, if we put the objects that make up the block on the 0 layer and change the current drafting layer, when you bring the block in, it'll automatically go onto that current drafting layer. So let's change our current drafting layer to doors now as well. Okay, now a dynamic block kind of follows along with creating a regular block. So if we go to the Insert tab and we go to Create Block, like we did before, click on Create Block. Now, what I'm going to do is call it door, D-O-O-R-DYN. Then we know it's a dynamic block, the DYN standing for dynamic. It's a very similar workflow. So we pick the point. That'll be this endpoint snap on the end of the line. We select the objects. So that'll be the line and the arc, like we did with the previous blocks. Enter to confirm that. And you can see the little preview up here. We are going to go with delete again, by the way. We're going to delete the original objects. Doesn't have to be annotative, although you can create annotative blocks and annotative dynamic blocks. We will, however, scale uniformly and allow exploding, like I've mentioned previously. Millimeters, because the drawing is in millimeters right now, and then we just tick this little box here, open in block editor. When I click on OK, you'll see we are now in the block editor, and we're going to utilize these block authoring palettes. So we need to put parameters on the block and then assign actions to those parameters. So what we're going to do, we're going to set up a base point, click on base point, and that's going to go over here on the end of the door. So that's our base point for our block. We're then going to do what is called a flip parameter, this one here. So we click on flip, and the base point of the reflection line will be the mid between 2 points, between this point and this point. So shift and right click, like we've done previously to bring up our object snap overrides, and we're going to go for mid between 2 points. And you want to go for this endpoint snap and this endpoint snap, and then just drag vertically upwards until you see the polar tracking kick in. Then left click, and you'll see flip state 1. You don't have to give it a name. The default flip state 1 will do for now. But you can rename those states if you want to. So there's our flip. It basically means that we can change which way the door swings when it opens. Now I'm going to zoom out slightly so that we can see everything. And then I'm going to go to the Actions tab. And we need a flip action to apply to our flip parameter. So there's flip, click on it. For the action, you select the flip state 1 parameter, and you select all of the objects, including the flip state 1 parameter. So click here, window selection around everything, so it's all encompassed in the blue window selection. Once you've done that, enter to confirm the selection, and you now have a dynamic block. You can see there that you've applied your flip 1 action to your flip state 1. So now we have a block called door-dyn. Now we can test the block. So there's a test block option here on the block editor tab. So click on test block. That'll open up a separate space outside of AutoCAD, you'll notice. Can you see test block window, door-dyn? So we click there. There's our little flip. Click on it and you can see it's working. So we can close the test block by clicking on the green tick. We now need to save the block like we've done previously. Remember, we took the PC off the desk. Save block like so. So that's done. Close the block editor, and we're back in our drawing. Back to the Home tab on the ribbon. Remember that doors is the current drafting layer. So when we bring this block in now, it should remember to put the door onto the doors layer. We go to the Insert tab and we go to the Insert Flyout. And if we scroll up a bit, we're looking for door DYN. There it is there. There's door DYN. So we'll click on it and we'll come into the drawing area. There's the base point, you'll notice. So we can put that on the endpoint snap there. Job done. When I select it though, we've got our little flip action and we've now got a dynamic block. It's a very basic dynamic block, but you can see it works well. And if I hover there, you can see it's put it onto the doors layer as well, because the original objects that made up the block were on layer 0. So that's how you create a simple dynamic block in your AutoCAD drawings.